This is Alex, and welcome to Barely Braided, where we're taking a deep, deep dive into foster care, adoption, and all things parenting, even the sticky stuff. Welcome to Barely Braided Podcast. It is episode 30-something. I can remember which episode we're on just about as easily as I can remember how old I am.
How old are you?
I don't know. I just said that.
You're 33. You'll be 34 in November.
How certain are you, though?
I'm very certain because you were born in 87.
Yes, that's right. Does anyone else have as much trouble remembering their age as I do?
You remember everything but your age.
Yeah, I feel like this is a real problem. I don't have a bad memory. I'm pretty good at remembering things. I can never remember how old I am.
We need to work on that.
We need to work on this. Well, anyways, as you can probably tell, I have my loveliest husband, partner.
Loveliest? Like there's been other husbands that were lovely before me?
No. There have not. I'm just trying to say that I'm really happy to have you.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm really happy to be here.
Good. How's your week been?
Long.
Yeah?
I'm bushed.
Are you?
Yeah.
What's been going on?
Just everything. Life.
Yeah. Well, we had a really fun weekend last weekend.
We did?
Yeah.
What did we do?
We went to a concert.
Oh, God.
We literally just talked about this,
We literally just talked about this 5 minutes ago.
I can't believe you didn't remember.
See, it's been a long week.
It's been a long week. So we had the opportunity to get out of the house and see live music. Which
we had a babysitter.
Yeah, we had a babysitter. We hadn't done this for so long, and it was so nice. So tell them about the event. So
we had a charity motorcycle riding concert with Jamie Johnson and a number of other pretty big artists and writers here in town. So we rode motorcycles, and then we went to a brand new venue just outside of Arrington, Tennessee called Dolan's Venue, and the artist put on a show, and it was awesome. So yeah, the really weird thing about this is I got there. I didn't know it was a new venue. I didn't know this was the first show that they were having. You thought you had been there before.
I swore up and down I had been to this venue before, and I'm like just thinking like, man, it was like maybe 8 or more years ago. I remember seeing something here, and I can't remember what it was or who I was with, and you guys were all like, no, this is the first show.
It was the very first show that this place ever put on, and they had a really nice facility. They had some, after talking to some of the security guys this week and some of the artist people, there's some changes that need to be made as far as like security, but overall it was great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So based on the fact that I'd been there before, maybe that just means that I'm a psychic.
Maybe.
Probably. Also, what's really funny is I feel like you are like friends with a bunch of celebrities, but you're very humble about it. And so when we go to these events, you're like introducing me to famous people, and I'm like, Joel, how do you know that? How do you know them? Is that your friend? Like, what's going on? And you know, like everything about them. You're like, yeah, he came into my shop, we talked, we're buddies. And I'm like, what the heck? I feel like I'm in the presence of like celebrities and A-listers.
Nah,
I don't deserve to hang out with you guys.
We just get to see a lot of cool people.
Yeah, we were...
They're normal people with extraordinary jobs, is what we always say.
Yeah, we got to stand, like, right on the stage. We were on the stage.
Yeah, we're kind of spoiled in that regard, where we get to... A lot of the shows we get to go to will stand side stage or something like that.
Yeah, and I feel like
we actually could have gone to John Party tomorrow, but we're going to be gone.
Oh, yeah. But I feel like as that person, like, I try really hard to, like, not fangirl, but then people can probably tell I'm trying not to fangirl, so they think I'm being, like, maybe rude or, like, arrogant or something. So, but really I'm just trying not to, like, reach up and hug their leg, you know?
So, I thought one of the funniest parts was... So here's a quick rundown of who was at the show. So it was Jamie Johnson who started this. And actually, it's so weird how this stuff comes up. Because 3 weeks ago, Jamie stopped by the shop and picked up a helmet because he was going to go move a friend's bike from one place to another. We couldn't find his helmet, whatever. And he said something about putting on a charity ride. And like the next week, everything's ready to go. We're having a ride. So, but anyway, it was him and Randy Hauser, Jared Neiman, Lee Bryce, Rob Hatch, Dallas Davidson.
He's BMI. He's played for us before at like employee events.
Yeah, he's a talented dude.
Mm-hmm. And Dennis Quaid.
And the
shoes. Yeah,
and his cousin Eddie's shoes, who's his biological brother, by the way.
That is very weird. So let's explain these shoes.
So did it look like they were kind of like tie-dyed to you or like marbled?
I was so blown away by like the shape of them that I couldn't really tell.
They were like
an
elf.
Well, so I think what they were is like...
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I was more blown away by how freaking yoked the guy was.
He was. Okay, so...
Dude's like 65 years old.
He was a sight to see all around.
You see these pictures of Tim McGraw on...
Yes.
And how shredded, and you always hear about how shredded Tim McGraw is. I would bet that Dennis Quaid is not far off from that.
Who do you think would win in a fight?
I don't know. Dennis, they're both not very big people.
Yeah, but Tim McGraw wears like those necklaces, like those cross necklaces. He'd probably like...
Use those nunchucks?
Yeah, or swipe him across the face with the cross necklace.
Yeah.
But Dennis Quaid could kick him with those shoes.
I wonder if they're steel-toed.
They looked like pointy-toe cowboy boots without the shaft, like clogs.
Yeah, so imagine... you'll see some Hispanic men with these really long, pointed, with very tiny square-toed boots.
Or straight up pointy toes.
Yeah, that's what they reminded me.
But they didn't have the shaft up the leg. They were just like clog versions of that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, like a side zip.
Also, Dennis Quaid was so rude.
He what? Oh.
Because he posted a photo.
He didn't tag us.
Yeah, he posted a photo on his Instagram from the concert, and we were like in the background. Like Joel was between his legs.
I was in his crotch.
Yeah.
With a drink in my mouth.
And he didn't even tag us.
Yeah.
How could he do that?
Rude.
Yeah, we had a really great time. But, okay, so the thing that kind of just put a damper on the whole thing, and this makes me so sad to say because we had such a fun time. It was the first time we'd been out in a long time.
And we were gone for 7-8 hours?
Yeah, we were gone for, most of the day in the evening, and we got home, and Brooks is going through this sleeping phase where he's, like, waking up and screaming, and so he was still awake when we got home.
Yeah, magic meltdown.
Yeah, and just screamed, and then the next day was difficult for us, and it's hard to get back in the routine of things when you get outside of your normal.
Mm-hmm. Routine for him is very, very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish his routine wasn't waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, well, and luckily tonight was good. He went to bed easily. I hope the phase has passed.
Yeah, because we have to stay in a hotel with him this weekend.
Yeah, so we're going to...
It's Memorial Day weekend. Tonight's Friday night before Memorial Day.
Yes.
So I'm working tomorrow, Saturday.
Yeah.
And then on Sunday, we're going to take the kids just across the state lines to Horse Cave, Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to go to the Thunder Down Under.
No. No,
Kentucky Down Under. It's like a petting zoo. I think they have
it's Australian themed.
Yeah, it's like an Australian themed
like kangaroos,
koala bears. I think you can pet the kangaroos and stuff.
I know. Do you think the kangaroos are going to be wearing masks?
Ugh, good point.
That was a joke. Do you really think I'm wondering that?
No.
Well, we might do that. We might do Dinosaur World. We also have a hotel with
a pool.
So we're bringing our swimsuits. I don't know. I feel like we should just play it by ear. Let's not have any plans.
Yeah.
We haven't bought any tickets. Let's just go with the flow.
So what I did learn today from so I have some customers from Horse Cave that own a restaurant up there who were shout out to Brian and Teresa Weber. They'll never listen to this, but if you're ever in Horse Cave, Kentucky, they have a pizza and pasta restaurant called Turtleopoly or something like that.
You should probably know the name of it.
Yeah, I should. I have a card downstairs, but they were so kind to treat us to dinner on them. So
yeah, if you're ever in the North Bowling Green area, check it out.
Yeah, and they said that our hotel is literally right across the freeway from Thunder Down Under.
Oh, Kentucky Down Under.
Kentucky Down Under.
Isn't
Sorry.
it Thunder Down Under, like the male?
Yeah, it is, and I don't know why that's in my head, but
That's terrible. Well,
Sorry.
speaking of small businesses, we've also got some big news.
I think we've told them that we're doing something different, didn't we?
Yeah, probably, but it's official now. We're open.
Yeah.
West River Whiskey Co. is officially open for
Officially
business.
official. Hey, we're going to have to set up a promo code.
For foster parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that for anybody in the Deadwood, South Dakota area, or if you're visiting out that way. It's a great vacation spot, especially in the summertime, the fall even. It's beautiful out
Same
there.
place as our Airbnb. Our Airbnb's maybe 1.25 miles from the business. It's right on Main Street in Deadwood.
Mm-hmm. And we sell all things whiskey, except for whiskey itself, because we can't afford a liquor license.
Yeah. One day we'd like to have one, but man, it's just so... From what I gather, it's like 100+ K.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're just content and we're having fun with it so far. And
We're running it from afar. Julie and Tom are kind of taking the reins, and then we have an employee named Sue, and we also have a new employee that I haven't had the chance to meet yet. Have you?
Yeah, I met Lori when I was up there working on the store back in April.
Okay.
Yeah, April. And middle of April, yep.
Cool. Yeah, so we've
Her
got a
name's
couple
Lori.
employees, and like we've really been staying busy. So right now we're only open weekends, and then I think starting Monday we're going to be open every day, right?
Yeah, during May, we were open 3 weeks in May, but only on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But it's been great so far. The response has been good, and
Yeah, like we have news outlets reaching out. They're like, we want to do an
I wonder how that went. We never heard.
Well, so I think I forgot to tell you, but the lady had scheduled an interview, and this was like a video recording
Mm-hmm. They were
for
gonna
broadcast.
Yeah.
And they were going to interview my mom and Tom, but she had to reschedule. She emailed me and said that they were working on a story about missing children.
Oh.
And the time that we had scheduled with them was the only time this party about missing children could be spoken to. So she had to reschedule, which was totally fine.
As my mother would say, phooey.
Phooey. Yeah, we'll reschedule. But that's big news.
Yeah.
West River Whiskey Company.
So westriverwhiskeyco.com is our website. We've got most of our stuff up there, but not everything.
Yeah, we have a couple really kind of fun things. So I've been really my job is the TikTok monitor.
Mm-hmm.
And I look for products on TikTok that I think would sell. And so we found a beer squirt gun that you load your beer bottle into, and it'll squirt gun beer.
Mm-hmm.
And also the ring toss, the double ring toss drinking game. I don't know if you've seen that. What's it called? Tiki toss? Tiki toss?
I don't know. I just remember playing it in the islands.
Yeah, where you take the ring and it's attached to a piece of string, and you let it go, and you hope that it hooks on a little metal hook.
So,
Maisie's up on
sorry.
that.
Did we tell them that we moved the studio into the living room this evening because of the kids' sleep pattern?
And Maisie just jumped up on Joel's lap and is licking him in the mouth. Yeah, if you hear any weird panting or funny mouth sounds, it's not Joel. Well, it's either Joel or Maisie. Yeah, I also feel like we have quite a few... Maisie, get off. Maisie, get off. I also feel... Oh, there's Bristol. I also feel like we have quite a few, foster care updates. So...
Yes and no.
Well, yes and no, but speaking of our trip out to Kentucky, so that was a whole debacle trying to figure out how to get permission to take her across state lines.
Did we tell last time that Ari has a new caseworker again?
I don't know. Maybe,
Caseworker number 3. So
I think we need to start from the beginning, because I don't think we talked about all this the last
first
time.
guy was with us for about a year. Second gal replacement was with us for less than a week.
Yeah, and she scheduled a meeting with us, and she was going to come over. And then a couple days before, she said, "Hey, I'm not going to be able to make that meeting." And I think she just left it at that. So I responded and I said, "Okay, no problem. When should we reschedule for?" And she said, "We won't be rescheduling right now. I'll keep you updated." And then we never heard from her again. And apparently she moved to a different part of DCS. But personally, I'm that's kind of rude to not, like, just call me and say, like,
hey, I took another job, had a better opportunity, it was a better fit for me, or whatever.
Yeah, don't just ghost me.
But that, you know what, I was just thinking about that. That is the way that DCS does things in a nutshell.
Yeah.
There's no communication.
Our whole experience over the last couple weeks, I feel like, it's been bad. I'm going to be honest.
It's been, I don't know, shadows, and it's been, I don't know, but it's been
bad communication.
Yeah.
So let's continue. Let's just talk about all the specific events that have occurred. And keep in mind, like, the way I feel about all this stuff is that it's all little things. It's all things we can deal with. But when you are two adults that have both full-time jobs on top of a business you own, on top of part-time jobs, on top of kids, on top of everything else,
on top of a property that you manage,
on top of college classes, like, there's just a lot of organization that needs to happen in our lives in order for them to run smoothly.
And not to mention, you got to keep the kids on a routine.
Right. And it's just very difficult when DCS is fighting against you to
maintain
maintain your familial life in your organization. Mm-hmm. So the first issue was that the caseworker that just kind of ghosted and disappeared, and then we had no idea who her caseworker was. So then we get this new caseworker, her third caseworker, and I'll be honest, I was impressed with her at first. You know, she seemed like she was on the ball, she was confident, she knew what she was doing, and then we asked her how
the TPR was going.
Well, yeah. Well, I'll let you talk about that because I'm not sure where you're going with that.
Oh, were you talking about taking her across the state lines with the vacation?
Yeah, I was talking about,
well, that too.
Taking her across state lines, and the caseworker said, well, you need to get a form from her GAL.
Her guardian ad litem. So I reached out right away and asked our GAL what we needed to do. And she's like, well, I don't have any qualms about you taking her out of state, but she's like, I have nothing to do with the forms. You need to get with your caseworker and they'll provide you with the forms. So here we are back to square one. And so we sent in what we thought, Alex sent in what we thought that she needed. And I'm just going
to say it that we did our part because
we did our part, but we never heard back.
No, which is typical. I mean, we've taken Ari across state lines before. We took her on a flight to Iowa. And I remember at this time, Roger was her caseworker, and he had like a whole list of like dozens of questions that he asked. They were like very in-depth. It was like he needed to know like the first and last name of every single adult that was going to be there, their age, like have they been
vaccinated, wasn't it?
I don't know. It was just like really in-depth. And so I put together all of that information for her newest caseworker and sent it to her, and
crickets.
Yeah, no response. So we're going to take her,
Yeah.
Like and I also copied her supervisor. If they don't want us to take her, then they should have responded and let us know that. So let's talk about the CFTM that was scheduled. So do you remember this? This was like 2 weeks ago.
No, it wasn't a CFTM. It was a Foster Care Review Board.
That's right.
For those outside of Tennessee, Foster Care Review Board is a panel of, I believe, 4 or 5 community members that sit on this panel. They volunteer their time. They hear the case from all sides, and they make recommendations to the judge every 6 months of how they, as the community, perceive the case. They have there's no bias or anything like that. They report to the judge, and from what everybody says, the judge really does take the board's thoughts into...
Yeah, their opinions are weighted heavily with the judge.
That's what I was looking for, thanks. So we had one, and then we had another one scheduled. And we're like
way too soon.
Yeah, way too soon. Like 2 months later.
Because they only happen like, what, twice a year, once a year?
I think every 6 months, yeah. So
Well, hold on, let's get real specific. Because how this happened is her newest caseworker sent me a text message and said, Alex, there will be a foster care review board on this day at this time.
And you said, does Ari need to be there?
Yep, I responded. I said, my exact words were, sounds good. We will be there. Send me the link when you have it. Does Ari need to be there? And the
link for Zoom.
Yep. because they're virtual. She responded and said, yes, Ari needs to be there. Okay, cool. So we put it on our calendar, prepare daycare, let daycare know that we're going to need to pick her up.
I came and picked her up early, and we brought both of the kids home because it was a 4:30 Zoom that day.
So it gets to be like kind of close to when the meeting is starting.
4:25.
Yeah, still haven't received a Zoom link. So I'm like emailing them, texting them, saying, hey, send us the Zoom link, please. And what was the response we got back?
Oh, you don't have to do it.
It wasn't actually a meeting.
Yeah, they just needed documents.
Yeah, it wasn't like actually a scheduled meeting that anybody needed to be at. And I'm like looking back at my text messages, like, did I miss something? Did I misread it?
No, and I looked and it fully said that she had to be there.
Yes. So, okay, I have another one though. The movie night.
Movie night?
Do you remember? I'm telling you, this stuff happens all the time that we start to forget it. So do you remember a month or two ago, we got a email and it was to like, I would assume all Davidson County foster families. And it was like, hey, please join us for this movie night. It's going to be kid free.
Yeah. They said that they were going to have babysitters.
No. Are you sure?
It was kid free.
The way I read it is that you had to find your own babysitter.
Oh.
And it was a kid free movie night that they were putting on for free for parents only. I don't know, whatever.
Gotcha. Okay.
But so the problem was, number one, they didn't tell you what movie they were screening. Like, that's a pretty big part of it, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't like really think anything of it. I mean, if we had gotten more information.
Did you ever find out what it was?
Well, get this. So they were like, please RSVP by like, I don't know, 5 days later or whatever. They gave you like 5 days to RSVP. Okay. So I'm just thinking like, maybe I'll just wait it out. Maybe they'll send another email and like tell you what movie it is or, give more information on if there will be like childcare provide, whatever. So literally the next day they sent me an email and they were like, hey, so about this movie night, it's actually not happening. And then they gave no further explanation. So, like, no idea why it was canceled or what happened, but it was like one day, there was like a poster, there was artwork for it, this whole big thing, and then all of a sudden...
They're so disorganized.
Yes. So, that was interesting.
Maisie's back.
Yeah, Maisie is back. The other thing we need to talk about, and this happened a long time ago, I went off on a TikTok rampage about this.
What?
Like several weeks ago, the meeting notification that we received in the mail.
Oh, I think we've talked about this, but...
No, I don't think we have.
Oh, really?
So, okay. Do you want to explain this or do you want me to? I can feel my blood boiling.
I will. So it was for a CFTM, a child family team meeting, which is where everybody gets together and we all discuss the case and where we see it going and so on and so forth. And this happens, I think it's quarterly, right?
No, I think it's like twice a year or something. Maisie, get off.
Maisie, get. So we get this notification.
On my door.
Yeah, on the door that we need to sign for a document from DCS. And frankly, it kind of tweaked Alex out.
Yeah, I was like, are we getting investigated? Did we get in trouble? What's going on?
So they end up bringing it, and it was a
No.
Well, did you go to the post office and pick it up?
Yeah, okay, I have a hard time, running errands and having personal time because I'm either working or I'm taking care of the kids. So I had to get off work early to go to the post office to pick this stupid thing up.
And so we open it and...
No, wait. You're forgetting a lot of important pieces. There's 2 letters.
Well, yeah, one for me and one for you.
Yes.
But they were for 2 different dates.
Yes.
In the past.
Yeah. So we open up these letters and they're just a meeting notification.
Certified mail.
We get meeting notifications to our email all the time. It just says hey, there's a foster care review board meeting on June 12th at 3 p.m. You should be there. We get these to our email all the time. For whatever reason, these 2 were certified.
We're certified mail, and we got them in the month of April.
And they were
dated November of September of last year.
They were referring to meetings that happened 6 months prior that we were actually at.
Yep. So another waste of money, another poor communication.
They spent $6 $13.72 per letter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, $13 on a couple of certified letters, not a huge deal. But what if they screwed this up hundreds of times that month?
Yeah.
Or month after month after month?
It's really quite, and I don't know if it's, I don't see government on an in-depth level, or local government on an in-depth level in any other way, really. But boy, if that's how all the departments are of our local and state government are working, boy, we spend a lot of money on nothing.
Yeah.
But it's so frustrating, just like seeing this and like the communication is so. I think it's the single most detrimental thing between foster parents and the government.
The lack of communication.
The lack of communication, the lack of transparency, inefficiency. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
It's kind of all rolled into one kind of bundle, but yeah.
Well, and everybody too says, these caseworkers are overworked and underpaid, and I don't disagree with that. But at the same time, at what point is that less important than the well-being of these children? And at what point can the superiors need to begin bringing in efficiencies? You know what I mean? Like sending out certified mail for meetings that happened 6 months ago is extremely inefficient. It's a waste. So if they're wasting their time and their money and their resources doing things like this, it's obvious why they're overworked and underpaid.
Yeah, for sure. And Alex isn't a big movie buff. She's not a fan of the movies I like, but Office Space. You've seen Office Space, right?
Yeah, but it's been a really long time.
Yeah, they need some of the Bobs.
Yeah, I don't.
They need the Bobs, the consultants, to come in and tell them where to cut, and fix things.
Yeah, I just feel like there are efficiencies that can be gained that
Absolutely.
exist. Yep.
They need normal people to sit down with them and show them what's going on.
I don't even know if it's normal people. Maybe it's like innovative thinkers or creative people, people who have successfully run efficient businesses. I feel like there are processes that can be automated. There are things that can be like maybe digitized that aren't currently digitized. I just feel like there are ways that these caseworkers can accomplish more efficiently while putting less manual work in, so they're able to spend their time doing things that actually make a big difference rather than coming to my house and yelling at me about how I fix Ari's hair.
I was just about to go there, but I didn't know if you would want to go there or if you thought we should go there.
Yeah, no, I don't mind. Go for it. What was your perception of the situation?
Hopefully y'all have been listening to this podcast and you've been through the early, last year's episodes. I don't know if there's any foster parent out there that has put more time, effort into learning how to care for an African American daughter's hair than my wife has.
Oh, that's nice of you to say that.
She's bought the creepiest freaking mannequin that Amazon has to offer.
She's not creepy. She's helpful. I do have to say, I was very proud of my latest version of cornrows.
Yeah.
I have spent hours and hours, and I'm not trying to brag.
Pretty good for a white girl.
I don't want to brag. I don't want to say that I'm like an expert or a pro by any means, but I do want to say that before I spoke with Kanisha, she was a guest on my podcast. She taught black hair care. Before speaking to her, I was under the impression that I would be taking Ari to a salon to have her hair fixed. Mm-hmm. After speaking with Kanisha, I gained the confidence to begin learning for myself.
Yeah. And she did. She learned what we thought everything, right? So she works on this mannequin, and it bothers me.
And it's funny too because she like screws onto the side of the table.
Yeah,
So
and you walk like I'll walk up in the middle. I get up at 4:15 in the morning. I walk up the steps when I come home from the gym at 6:15, and there's Aunt Shasta just with her head on the table. But anyway, she's got this thing that she practices on, and every day she does Ari's hair, and she's constantly teaching and learning. She's taking Kanisha's class. She's brought Kanisha on her podcast. We have resources at daycare that give advice, that are all African American, that give advice on how to take care of her hair. And there's not a day that that kid's hair looks dry, looks, whatever. And our caseworker comes over the other night, and I had to walk out because she had the nerve to tell Alex that, I'm paraphrasing here, but she basically said, everything you're doing, basically do the opposite. You're doing everything wrong.
Yeah. And I do have to say, okay, so Ari's hair did look a little dry
that night, but keep in mind that you did her hair at 7:15 when I took him to daycare, and it was 5:30 at night. They were 30, an hour from going to bed.
Yes. So her hair was a little bit messy.
And they've been playing outside all day.
Yeah, you're right. It's like 90 degrees here. It's muggy. It's humid. They'd been outside all day long. So her hair was a little bit messy, and it's not yet to the point where I can put it in a protective style with a bunch of like gel or like fake hair so that it'll last a long time. She's still just a baby, so her hair still gets frizzy. I don't like put a lot of stuff in it. So her hair was looking like a little bit ratty.
You spend a lot of time.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time learning and, experimenting and
you spend a lot of time actually doing with her hair too, though.
So her caseworker started talking to me about it, and her caseworker said,
go get all the products that you use on her hair.
Yeah, and show me. But before that, she said, feel my hair. She wanted
that
me
was
to feel
weird,
her hair.
by the way.
Well, yeah, I feel like it's kind of a violation of privacy, but she asked me to, so I did, whatever. And her hair was very soft. So her mindset was any advice that she was giving me was going to be better than anybody else's advice because she had soft hair.
Right.
And in my head, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm willing to listen to just about anybody. I'm willing to try just about anything, especially from people who have hair that may be similar to Ari's, or people who have hair that I think looks pretty, or...
But just like me and you, not every black person is the same.
Yeah, they all have different types of hair.
Absolutely. My hair might be wavy. Yours is curly.
Right.
Some people have straight, some people have, whatever. Mm-hmm. Just like white people or other people, no black people's hair is exactly the same.
Right.
So there's not a one size fits all for any type of hair, no matter what culture you are or what race you are.
Right. So she went through all the products. And so the products that I had, and I'll tell you what they are because these are products that I feel come very highly recommended, like in the Facebook groups and with the people that I know who like have black children.
I'm in motorcycle groups and groups of weird stuff.
What kind of weird stuff?
Like hobby stuff. like
drones and...
Yeah, like drones. I love to fly drones and stuff like that. Alex is in groups
for
of
hair care.
Mommies and hair care and adoptive parents and foster parents. She started a local foster parent page.
Mm-hmm. These products came highly recommended. So it was like the Miel pomegranate honey came very highly recommended. Also, what's that one? Curl Piece. Something. It has a really weird texture. It's like a butter. I can't remember what it's called. What were the other ones? I can't even remember, but they were things that came very, very highly recommended.
And she's like, no, throw them away.
Yeah, she said, throw them away. Stop wasting your money.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, number one, some of these things were given to me as, and not gifts, but like from other people who were like, hey, I tried this. It didn't really work. Why don't you try it? And my plan is to try it. And if it doesn't work for us, then we'll give it to somebody else. But if it does, we're going to use it. Anyways, she was like laughing at the products that we had.
quite disrespectful, really.
She was making me feel about little tiny.
You were fixing to cry.
Yeah, I was about to cry because it's like one thing to give a little bit of advice and say like, hey, why don't you try this? But she was
rubber bands.
Yeah, the rubber bands weren't right. Well, oddly enough, the rubber bands
were bought by black people for Ari.
Yeah, they came from our daycare workers because the daycare workers also
love to braid her hair.
Yeah.
And put styles in it.
Yeah, so they bought us this particular pack of rubber bands that her caseworker, I guess, decided that was not good enough. Also, the brush that I had for her, I don't know if y'all have seen this, but it's the brush that has like a bunch of like...
It looks like that little hand that you get from winning tickets at skee ball. The little hand that you like flip back and forth and it claps.
Yeah, it has like a bunch of like... How do you even explain this brush?
It's got one handle, but it's got like
arms
four...
that come out of it.
Yeah, like 4 different combs.
Like probably 8 or 10.
4. Okay, so they're all like offset different so that they kind of, and they flex really easily.
Yeah, it's flexible. Yeah. Yes, it's flexible and it doesn't pull, but this is like the number 1 natural hair detangling brush on Amazon. And she was laughing she's like, I've never seen anything like that. What is that? And I'm like,
yeah, she was like, what? Like literally laughing.
How can her advice be so different than any of the advice I see anywhere
else? But it's an Amazon bestseller.
Well, and not only that, but it's also like, it's the brush that I see day in and day out of people recommending, saying like, hey, this was a lifesaver for me.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And it's just so interesting that a lot of times you hear when you're getting advice on hair, it seems like everybody believes they're the only expert. They're the only one that's right.
It's another, not one size fits all. You know, everybody's different. Everybody's hair is going to be just a little bit different.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm getting heated. Like I have not felt that bad about my own abilities in a long time. Like usually I feel pretty confident. Like if I want to accomplish something, I will work my butt off. I will go down the rabbit hole and I will get it done. But
hypnosis school.
Yeah.
Real estate school. You're a traditional college student now. Yeah.
The one thing that I'm like not really succeeding at is running.
You're doing great.
I don't think so.
Man, it took me so long to get decent at it.
How long did it take you to like call yourself a runner?
Probably 2 years.
What?
Oh yeah.
2 years?
Yeah.
What? I
remember the day that I decided that I was going to fix myself and lose weight. I came back from a motorcycle trip. I was in Rapid City, actually, in South Dakota, and Uncle Mark invited me to a dinner the night after we got back. And on the way to dinner, I'm like, I'm done being this big.
How big were you?
I was 355.
I can't visualize what a person that weighs 355 looks like. Like, compare that to somebody I would know.
Me, filled with a lot of air.
Like with balloons stuffed under your shirt?
Yeah. But we went to his friend's restaurant, and I ate a good meal. I ate way too much, and I just from then on, I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna exercise. So I started doing cardio every day, elliptical, and then I started running outside, and I just slowly, I'd run like 1/4 mile, and then just keep increasing. And I remember I was working in Lakeville, Minnesota at the time, and I was using my phone. I had it strapped to my arm for the map or whatever, and I always go. I run in the middle of the night, 4 or 5 in the morning, and it was dark. And I remember I'm like, damn, I didn't turn the right way, or I didn't go the right direction. Long story short, I ended up running 8 miles because I ran the wrong way.
Wait,
I took the wrong corner.
So why?
And after that, I realized that I was kind of a runner.
Why wouldn't you walk home?
Because I had to be at work.
Oh, like you were in a hurry.
Yeah, I used to drive from Eden Prairie to Lakeville, which is, I don't know, it's like 30 minutes. And I would leave my house at 4 in the morning, and I would be at the gym at 4:35, and I had to be at work at 7:15 after showering and getting my suit on and all that.
Your suit. I can't imagine you as like a suit kind of guy.
I know, I'm not.
You're like a t-shirt, tattoo sleeve kind of guy.
Yep.
Chucks or Vans.
Yep.
That's so funny. So I've been doing the Couch to 5K program, and this is actually kind of interesting because I feel like I've started this program several times over the years, but this time I'm like really dedicated to it. So if you're not familiar with it, I think it's a 9-week program, and you're supposed to go out and run 3 times a week, and it guides you through a series of like, okay, walk this many minutes, run this many minutes, and like every time it increases the amount of running. Well, I'm on week 5. So in the past, for the previous weeks, the 3 days in week 1 and the 3 days in week 2 and the 3 days in week 3, etc., are all the same. So you do the same thing 3 times in a row, and then the next week you up it a little bit. Well, these jerks screwed me. They fooled me on week 5 because week 5, day 1, I did it, and I was like, okay, this is good. I can do this. Week 5, day 2, they totally changed it up.
Yeah, but, you're going to have setbacks, though. You're going to feel easy. Dogs get...
Dogs need some attention.
I have 2 dogs on my lap.
Bristol, get down. Brissy, come here.
Get. Scram. Man, I'm so sorry.
Maisie, get down.
So, you're going to have setbacks. And even now, like, when I first moved to Nashville 6.5 years ago, almost 7, wow. I remember I used to leave my apartment, and I would run 4.5 to 5 miles a day.
How does one even do that?
Like an 8:15 to 8:30 pace.
Yeah.
I was weighing like 240, and I looked anorexic, but
I don't think you looked anorexic. Like,
I was really, really thin. I was 226 when I came down here on Christmas Eve to look at the store.
When I first
I hadn't weighed 226 since 5th grade.
Oh my gosh.
And I was a 35-year-old man.
When I first met you, I don't think you look anorexic, but you'll look back at pictures and say, oh man, I look too skinny. I didn't think so. You know our problem now, though? Dogs. No, our problem is fudgesicles.
No, those are actually good because I'm able, we're both back to kind of tracking, what our intake is, and I feel really good.
Yeah, I feel pretty good too, except for, so fudgesicles are cool because they're only 40 calories, but I eat like 17 of them.
Well, you had 6 the other night. 6 times 4, it's 240 calories. That's
less.
That's one Jif to go.
I love Jif to go's. Yeah,
Alex
right.
loves peanut butter, and we'll eat it by 2 to 3 spoonfuls. And I'm not talking about a teaspoon. I'm talking whatever the bigger one is.
Well, so I stopped buying the regular tubs of peanut butter. Instead, I started buying the little Jif to go things.
And that's how I lost 100 pounds, was weighing things and measuring things. So yeah, you're doing the right thing. You're on the right track.
But when you eat 76 fudgesicles, it kind of defeats the purpose.
The most I've ever seen you eat was 6 in a sitting. Now, whether you ate others outside of that sitting, I don't know.
No, I didn't.
But 6 times 4 is 24, so 240 calories.
Is less than one Jif to go, which is actually really interesting because I did not want to give up peanut butter because I love peanut butter so much. So what I do is I'll go run in the morning, like right when you're taking the kids to school, and then when I'm finished running, I come home and I have 2 slices of turkey bacon, which is like not really a lot of calories.
50 maybe.
Yeah, my coffee, and then I'll have a Jif to go, and that's like my morning. That's like what I look forward to.
Yeah, and that's okay if you have a Jif to go.
I mean, I count it. It's part of my calories for the day, and that's just, it's my treat that I look forward to.
Yeah.
On top of my fudgesicles.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's funny. We have, we've been going for like over 45 minutes, but we have
rambling.
We have one other thing that we really need to talk about.
What?
So...
Is this where you spring something on me?
No. No, this is something you already know. But the next time I have like really big news, I'm going to wait to tell you.
Bring it to me on the podcast.
Yes. No, you know this.
So if I'm back on next week, you know that there's something coming.
We were both at work the other day, and I got a call from Ari's caseworker supervisor. She said, "Hey, Miss Alice, I have something to tell you." I said, "Okay, what?" She said, "Ari has a new baby brother. He was just born. Nobody knew mom was pregnant. Nobody knew he was coming, and we'd like to know if you'll take him."
Because he tested positive for
he'll
drugs.
Most likely be coming into custody, and she said they're going to try to terminate for him at the same time they terminate for her. Anyways, that's kind of all the further I want to get into the story. But Joel and I were very heartbroken because we can't take him right now.
Yeah.
Like, this is really affecting me because I don't want Ari to grow up feeling like she looks different than everybody else in her family, and I don't want her to have any sort of negative feelings because of that. And I thought bringing her brother into our family would help, would solve that. But the problem is we can't have 3 kids under 2 years old. We don't have the car seats.
We don't have the cars.
We don't have the car. We can't pay $2,500 a month in daycare. We can't find daycare until he's 6 weeks old anyway.
Alex is in a fairly new job, so she can't, and I
don't
can't.
have time off yet.
Yeah.
I don't have maternity leave in my new job yet.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it's not possible, and I'm very heartbroken about it.
It hurts, yeah.
But
and I'm not sure that we could have done it. I'm not sure we could have the mental capacity to do 3 under 3.
Not right now. I mean, I feel like if our lives were different, or maybe if our jobs were different, our situations were different, we could do it. If I
there's a lot of things that could be different, but I think we don't have a family structure here.
Not at all.
Neither of us have any sort of within 1,000 miles, and you know, we don't have that escape where grandma can come over and take care of the kids for even an hour, you know. So we have to have either groceries delivered, or we have to pack both kids up and take them to the grocery store, or to get, you know. That's why this last Sunday was so important and so special to us, because we haven't done that really since Moby Dick was a minnow.
Yeah, in order for us to do things, it requires extensive planning. We cannot drop the kids off somewhere or hire a babysitter without extensive planning.
Alex was going to go to lunch tomorrow with a friend. You were going to go tubing in the river. We were
going to go kayaking on the river. And it's supposed to be crappy tomorrow. So they're just going to go to lunch. But Alex has already made their lunch for tomorrow. You know, they made the plates and everything's ready. Wrote out instructions for the babysitter.
Yeah, so it does. It takes a lot of planning. And you guys all know that it takes planning. Regarding
Ari's brother.
Yeah.
While it's a very sad situation, and obviously it's not ideal at all, I am a little bit glad to know that, you know, she has another family member now. You know, hopefully we can build a relationship with the family that adopts him, and they can stay in contact, and we can come and visit them, and, you know, they'll have play dates and they can FaceTime. And like, that's really my hope. So it's
important to her, for her to have sibling interaction or cultural interaction.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And, you know, I'm just going to say it. I feel like we've kind of like alluded to this in the past, or maybe we flat out said it. I don't remember. But like, I'm really pushing for her to be able to have a relationship with her older brother who has been adopted by another family. And they just don't seem very receptive to it. Like, they say that they're receptive to it.
Well, and you and I had this conversation the other night. They're accommodating one child at the expense of another, in our opinion.
Yeah, well, and their story is not ours to tell.
Right.
So I really don't want to get too much into it. But at the end of the day, I believe the best decision for both children would be for them to have a relationship, and I don't know if they agree with that or not.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion, it should be perfectly clear.
Yeah. We learn a lot from This Is Us.
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
And a million little things and some of those shows on TV, but man, it seems like every time we watch This Is Us, it's like
there's a parallel to our life.
a parallel to our life, and we learn a life lesson. And right now, Randall's going through, on This Is Us, is going through, in a lot of the season has gone through the like fact
that
an identity crisis where he's adopted by the White family and doesn't know exactly where he came from, and he learns where he came from, and that his mother was around longer than they thought. And yeah, it's just so interesting. So
yeah, it is, and although like I'll keep trying to have a relationship built between Ari and her older brother,
mm-hmm.
I have faith that a relationship between her and her younger brother will be easy. Yeah. I hope anyways. I mean, I feel like we're pretty freaking
You've
cool.
planted that seed with the caseworkers.
I don't even know if he's been placed yet. The last time I spoke with him, he had not yet been placed. He was still in the NICU, so
yeah, he could be.
See. But I'm telling you, I was very heartbroken. I was really questioning our decision. I do feel like it's the right decision, but like our parents even were messaging us. Your dad sent us a message like showing, I'm about to cry, but like showing their support, letting us know that they understand that it was a tough decision, that they think that we made the correct decision, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So their support meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
Your dad and my mom basically said the exact same thing.
Yep.
And they're two very smart people. So and I respect both of them a lot. So I appreciate that they backed us up, I guess. But, and the other weird thing about it too is like, what are the chances that no other younger siblings are born for either of our kids?
Yeah, well, I mean, but Brooks will very likely, and we haven't heard in a while, but last time we knew she was
pregnant.
Yeah.
So, I mean, chances are there may be lots of siblings or several,
Brooks has 3 other
older
half siblings that he's had a little bit of interaction with, not much, but
and we need to do better at keeping them connected as well.
Yep.
We really do. And honestly, like in my head, I guess maybe it wasn't, and this is so wrong, but it wasn't, I guess, as important because of the racial thing. He's not going to have that racial thing.
Right.
And
it does.
That's
it's
not the
not
right opinion.
Right. It's not fair to him to not have that connection just because he sees whiteness around him.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean,
we never want to keep them from their story.
No. Or their siblings.
Or hide them from their
families.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's going to be scary one day when they say they want to meet their biological parents. It's going to be scary for us. It's going to be odd to know that they want to go and explore their culture, their background, find out, talk to their biological mothers. Why did you do what you did? But
well, and ideally, they would have a relationship.
Shit, maybe we just got to, yeah. Maybe we just have to go to therapy at that point.
Man,
for ourselves.
I plan therapy for our entire family starting like
yesterday.
As soon as they can talk.
Babas.
Yeah. They're starting to talk a little bit, like repeating, and they're just.
I think Ari, even though she's 6 months younger, has a better vocabulary than Brooks.
Yeah.
But a lot of people do say that women or little girls talk better than little boys do. Quicker.
Yeah. Yeah. This got we went so many different places with this episode.
Yeah. We went down some rabbit holes.
Yeah.
True to mommy form.
I'm ready for bed. Do you have anything else before we clock off?
It's literally 8:45.
Oh my goodness.
Ready for bed.
Been ready for bed.
Yeah.
All right. What are we forgetting? Would you like to say some closing words?
Bye.
I want to say thank you again.
It was a good episode. We had a good chat.
Yeah, we did. Thank you again to Ruben, our podcast editor, because
You're going to have a lot to edit, Ruben.
I'm sorry. Yep. This one's a doozy. And I mean, I guess I just hope this episode was quite different from the others.
Yeah.
So let us know your feedback. I've said this before, but I live on the reviews we get on Apple Podcasts and the Instagram messages and the Facebook messages. Like that just, I've noticed 9 times out of 10, it's somebody who has like just started their foster parent classes. And it just makes me feel so good that they're like seeking out extra information and we found each other.
And there's people that continue to, even after they hear our stories about non-communication and lack of transparency,
they're
that are still like, F yeah, we're still in for it. So
yeah, they're still interested.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. Well, I'm going to bed. I don't know about you. Not before I eat a couple more fudgesicles.
We're out, babe.
Oh, isn't there one left?
There's one in the garage.
I'll arm wrestle you for it.
You can have it.
All right. Well, good night, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.